If you want to get down with that slick rockabilly sound, then you're in luck, because this week's lick is greasier than a pomade enema. Check it out. Hey there kids, and welcome to Weekend Wankshop here with your good buddy Uncle Ben, the only weekly lick lesson series hosted by Uncle Ben this weekend. You know guys, every time I hear some cool rockabilly guitar licks by dudes like Brian Setzer, I just want to head down to the nearest malt shop, order up an egg cream, and crank up that jukebox. So in order to share in my affinity for these old-timey guitar licks with you guys, I've come up with a cool lick that you could play in the guitar-friendly key of C, over a C major chord, or a C7, or even in a C blues or whatever. Just pretty much anything that you need to add a little bit of a malt shop memory style flair into. I'll show you the lick, then we'll talk a little bit about the kind of harmony and stuff that goes into making these licks sound the way that they do. Before we get into it, let's hear it again at stepdad speed. And of course, you can find a full tab for this week's lick on my Instagram page. So be sure to go follow me over at BenEllerGuitars. Find the tab for this week's lick and learn how to play it, and then upload a video of yourself shredding through it along with the hashtag WeekendWankshop. The lick itself isn't too terribly hard to play, so it's cooler to kind of study it and then look at the kind of harmony that's implying and learn about that stuff. That way you can apply it to not only this lick, but make up your own kind of licks and stuff too. So keep in mind, this would be taking place over a C or like a C7 chord. But the cool thing is even if it's played over just regular C, the kind of notes that we're playing here are going to imply a sort of C7 tonality, which is way cool. So the first thing that you're going to do here is to play the G string fret number 8 and then hammer on to fret number 9. Now again, in context of a C root note, this is the equivalent of hitting a flat third to a major third. That kind of minor to major sound, which is a huge element of country guitar playing, which is where a lot of these rockabilly guys got a lot of their ideas from. So anytime you want to tap into that rockabilly country kind of thing, just take a major chord of any kind and then play minor third to major third. Again, the harmony is the important thing here, not necessarily that it's fret 8 to fret 9 or whatever. It's really important when you're studying licks like this to look at what does that mean to the chord it's being played over, in this case a C. So after we do our hammer on from fret number 8 to fret number 9 of the G string, we're going to play fret number 8 of the B string here and hammer on to fret number 10. Now again, this is a G note, the 5th of a C chord, hammering on to a note, the 6th of a C chord. Then what we're going to do is to come down here to the high E string, fret number 8, which is a C note, again the root note of a C here. We're going to play that note 2 times. So the first little ascending part of the lick starts off on the G, and we're going to go just like that. After this, we're going to play this little 3-note run on the B string, which is a B flat, the flat 7 of a C chord, the A note, which is the 6 of a C chord, and the G note here on fret number 8, which is the 5 of a C chord. So fret number wise though, that's 11, 10, and 8. Again, I keep referencing this bass note here so you can hear what all these notes sound like in their harmony against that bass. So after you walk down the B string here, we're going to play the G string fret number 10, which is an F note, a 4 or an 11 against a C bass note. And then do you remember that little minor third, major third, E flat to E thing you did earlier? Well, we're going to play the 8th fret G, then the 9th fret G, which again is minor third to major third. Fret number wise here we played 10, 8, 9, and then we land here on the 10th fret on the D string, which is a C note, the root note of the chord. So then you're kind of ending up on the root right here. Always a good idea with a lick to end up on the root note of the chord. So far we should have this. And then the last couple of chords I'm hitting there at the end are just like this. This is starting off here on the 9th fret D, 8th fret G, 9th fret B, 9th fret high E. Now these notes in reference to a C bass note, that's not a lot of good stuff. You got sevens and minor thirds and sharp fives and all kinds of brutal stuff in there that sounds really tense, but you're only there for a second before you just shift it down a half step like this. So again, I started off on like 9, 8, 9, 9, and then I moved down a half step, 8, 7, 8, 8. And in terms of a C, the harmony you're hearing here is a flat 7, an 11, a 5, and a 1. It gives you that big C11 sound, which is really cool. So again, these notes don't necessarily mean anything to a C, nothing too terribly melodic anyway, but then you just immediately push it down half step where everything fits into place. That's, again, a really common feature to see in this style of music and blues and stuff too. Think about how many like C blues turnarounds you've heard that sound like, where this G sharp 7 doesn't really make sense in the key, but this G7 does. You just kind of play a half step above what you're meaning to kind of build tension, then you let it back down to where, it belongs. So once more from the top, we should have this right here. In order to sound authentic when you play this kind of stuff too, keep in mind that the rhythmic feel you're looking for is kind of a swing feel, which is a broken triplet. Okay, so if you have a beat that's going like this, and you're thinking of triplet, 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 well, just think about eliminating the puh, the second syllable of triplet, So instead of triplet, 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 you're left with trillet, 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 trillet. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you're left with 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. That's the kind of timing you're wanting to convey whenever you play through this lick. Now compare that rhythmic feel to this, which is like a straight 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and kind of feel. And you'll notice this is just a lot more like white bread mayonnaise, Whereas this, that's got some grease on it, So be sure as you play this stuff to keep the rhythmic feel in mind, because that's part of this whole musical accent, There's the harmonies we talked about with the minor thirds to major thirds and the flat 7s and the 6s and stuff that just make up this sort of musical dialect, as well as that sort of swing rhythm feel. It's part of what makes this all sound so cool. So there you go, guys, a cool lick to bust out on the old arch top at your next sock hop or footloose frenzy. Bust that one out and you're sure to go home with the chick in the poodle skirt of your choice. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for another cool lick next week. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at BenEllerGuitars. And if you're interested in booking some one-on-one Skype lessons with me, be sure to drop me an email, BenEllerGuitars@gmail.com. Drop me a line and we'll talk about rates and times and all that other cool stuff. Thanks again. Stay tuned for more cool stuff next week. Cheers, you guys.